Hi everyone, it's Heather. Okay, this is how some of the metal embellishments came out. I have dried them overnight and they're still a little bit tacky, but these ones are the ones that I did with the Pebeo paint. So when I originally did them, I poured the paint into the bezel and left it to dry. So that was a few days ago, but it leaves a concave surface when you do that, because obviously as the paint dries, the moisture evaporates. It just leaves a coating of paint on the bottom of the bezel. So what I did in order to make them sort of slightly domed, I don't know whether you can see that, that's obvious now because my hand is pink, you probably can't see that. Anyway, it is a slightly domed surface now. I added a resin type product, and I use this UV resin which I got off Amazon absolutely ages ago. I bought it to do because I thought it might be an effective glue for something, but I'd never used it, so it's been sat in the cupboard for well over a year. Can I just give you a warning, don't use this with a UV lamp. It will give off some horrible fumes, so don't use it with that. The idea is that you basically just put it on and leave it, and the sunlight in your area will set it fairly quickly. It says it's made with non-toxic ingredients rather, but it stinks. So to be honest with you, I don't think I would recommend this, but this is what I use because I happen to have it, and I didn't actually want to mix up any resin, so I thought I may as well use what I've got. So on top of the paint coat, I just poured some of that UV resin into each little bezel, and it's worked quite nicely. The only thing is it's still very slightly tacky. It's supposed to dry really, really quickly, but the surface is definitely quite tacky. It's almost like, it's weird, it's like a greasy sort of feel to it, so I don't know whether that's going to go away or whether I'm going to have to wipe them, so I'm going to have to experiment with that. I hope it doesn't completely ruin the lovely glossy look, because I really quite like that. I did pop some of the bubbles, because when you pour any liquid into a cup sort of shape like this, you always get bubbles, and I use a little pin to pop them. However, I've still got a few bubbles sort of on the surface because I've not done a particularly good job. Now I'm okay with that because I'm using these for journals, but if I was using it as jewellery, I don't think I'd have been very happy with that finish. So I didn't do the best job, if I'm honest. But I still like the way they've come out, and I think they're going to look lovely in junk journals for dangles and whatnot. This one, however, look at the mess I made. I obviously overfilled it slightly. In fact, I don't think I overfilled it. What happened was, because it was so smelly, I opened the craft room window and I had it ledged on a piece of acrylic with the window wide open, and it was sort of balancing precariously on a tray underneath my Velux window. And I think I must have just, when I put it on there, I must have just tipped it slightly, so it actually went over the tension, sort of went over the top and made this lovely spillage. Now obviously that's not something that you would normally go for, but I'm going to try and use that to my advantage, and I'm going to be gluing things onto that, because I thought, oh, it's okay, I'll just cut it off. But actually, if I glue something onto it, it'll just give me an extra bit on the bottom there for some stability, to sort of add something extra on there. Not sure what yet, probably flowers, maybe butterflies, something of that nature. But it's a lovely finish, isn't it? That Pebeo paint is absolutely amazing. I'll try not to do the reflection. It's just gorgeous, I absolutely love it. So you've got quite a swirly effect there. Very sort of, I don't know, sea, reminiscent of the sea, beautiful. So I really love those. I used a couple of different colours on that one. That's where I used the purple and the blue. That's sort of a light mauvey type purple, and that was one of the light golds, and there's loads of bubbles in that one. I absolutely love that because the bubbles were from the paint, and actually I think there's only 1 or 2 bubbles from the actual resin on top, but it looks lovely. It's almost like pearls. Gorgeous. So I'm really pleased with the way they turned out. There's a little bit of work to do with them because I've got to decide whether I'm going to add anything on top. So if I do want to add anything on top, I'm going to see how the finish goes, because obviously if this dries sort of sticky, I don't want to use that as a glue. Ordinarily I think with resin you'd probably you'd use resin on top of the resin to sort of mount things on it and use it as a glue, but I don't like the surface that has given, so I'll probably have to use super glue, maybe something like that, I don't know. So at the moment I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'm going to have a play later on and I'll show you the finished result in another video. Now what I'm going to do very quickly today, I thought to make use of this gorgeous fabric that Billow Fabrics have sent me, I'm going to add that into one of these bezels, and then I'll use the UV resin on top later on when it's dried, and have that as a nice backing, because I just absolutely love this fabric that they sent me, and it's such a tiny piece. It's just nice to be able to do something with it. So I'm going to take that out of here. Oh, that sounds like my husband coming home, so I'm just going to pause the video and I'll be back. Right, I'm back. So I've taken this off now, it's just stapled lightly. So I'm going to cut, I really should use my fabric scissors for this, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered to retrieve them from the playroom. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this fabric. Hopefully I've made it slightly smaller on the bezel. Yes, just slightly. Well, that's cute because you can see a little bit of the silver coming out. Have I done that the wrong way around? No, sorry. I'm going to take a tiny, tiny fraction off that top. Yeah, you can see the silver sort of glistening through, so that's going to look lovely. Before I put the resin on, I might actually pop a couple of beads on there as well, maybe in the corner. I think that will look cute. Right, to set the fabric, I'm going to use this matte gel medium and hope that works. So let's just pop a little bit. I'm going to have to let this dry before I put the resin on top anyway. I just want to use this up really because it stinks and I don't like it. I have got a pack of resin, the 2-part resin, which I've never used, so I'll probably play with that next time. I suspect that will smell bad as well. Okay. But I don't like stinky things in the craft room. I prefer water-based where possible. Okay, might need just use that little pin just to push it in. Oh, and that's made a mess. Okay, so that's really cute, so I'll leave that. I mean, it's pretty dry to be honest with you, but I'll leave that now and come back later and add the resin. Okay, I'm back. Just before I put the resin in, I found these little tiny flat back pearls that had stuck together. Can you see that? Okay. So there's 3 little pearls in one. I'm going to stick those over that flower, and I'm going to stick a single flat back pearl over that flower. I'm just going to use the matte gel medium to do that. and then I'll leave those to dry before the resin. Very subtle, but just really like how that looks, and you can see a little bit of silver still as well. Hello, I'm back. There will be lots of stopping and starting in this video, I'm afraid, because I have to do it in so many stages. So they are the flat back pearls just glued into place. They seem quite secure, and so does the fabric at the bottom. And I've found one of these dangles that I made the other day. I'm going to use some of these on it as well, but I am going to use some silver findings instead, some silver head pins rather than the bronze ones, so that's there to remind me. Right, so let's pop just a little protection down for the worktop, and then we're going to use the UV resin just to use this up. And what I might do is just open the window because it stinks. Go. So that's filling up nicely. Ooh, there we go. Lovely. Right, so what I'm going to do now is leave that to set, and in the interim I'm going to pop that probably under the window to set. I'm going to dismantle this, and this is an old necklace. It's just costume jewellery, obviously, and I'm probably going to use this lovely silky cord and maybe one of these little they're almost sort of mandala, aren't they? So possibly one of those on it as well. So I'm going to dismantle that, and then I'll have something to hang on to it. So and I'll do that, and I'll also make one of the dangles with a silver head pin if I can find one. So I'm going to pause again, and then I'll be back again. Okay, I'm back again. I've been down to the playroom and I've found these gorgeous little Swarovski bicone beads. So I may use a couple of these if they'll go through the head pin. And I've found some silver head pins, and I'm going to dismantle that. So we'll just have a little bit of a play. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to dismantle this. I'm sorry, there is a bit of a noise outside and my fingers aren't looking great, so let me see if I can get a little bit closer, because bear in mind I know my hands aren't looking the best at the moment, so hopefully that doesn't gross you out. Got stuff flying everywhere now. So I'd like to repurpose this. As I've had it in my stash for some time. Quite a nice bit of chain attached there. Right, so I can use those. I'll keep all the little bits of chain. and thinking about it, I might, instead of using a head pin, I might use an eye pin, and then I can add something onto the bottom. Maybe make one of each. So, ooh, losing my beads. So if we go for the larger one on the bottom, then that one, and then the little one on top, and oh, there's just enough to fit one of those on. That's cute, isn't it? Right, then we can now make a little loop at the top. Okay. Now obviously this is one of the elements that I altered when I was doing the embossing on metal, so I want to use that as well. There's another one here, that's quite cute, that might go nicely in there. I was actually thinking maybe that, because we've got the square of the decoration with the resin in, but that actually goes quite nicely with the brown, so I don't know which one I prefer. Could always have one sort of dangling off, maybe that one dangling off. It's quite a good idea, I think I'll do that. So I only want one attachment on here, so I can remove these. Oops. Right, so I can keep that one at the top, and I might need two. Super. Now, I think that gives it enough of a dangle, so we'll open this link here. Oh, it's already open. So we'll just attach that . No, it's not open far enough. This is fiddly. Still not open far enough. Using a jump ring might have been easier, but never mind. Gosh, I'm making a mess of this. Here we go. Oops, that's better. That's quite nice. I have that dangling there. Probably could have got away with one link, but I like that. And then maybe have, I don't know whether I want that dangling at the bottom now. I think we'll just go straight ahead and attach that actually. That's cool. I like that. You can't see a lot of the blue, but when it's dangling, that'll be nice. I hope I managed to get that on camera. I'm a bit ham-fisted because I can't see what I'm doing. And then we're probably going to need some chain to hang that behind the square. I'm sorry, somebody started doing their lawn, so you probably can't hear anything now, so I might have to just block this out. We'll have to see. So maybe what we could do is put that on that side, and then we've got something interesting on both sides. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll do that. Yeah, I shall do that. Okay, so we're going to attach jump ring to there. It's dried, it's still slightly tacky, but I think that's just the way it goes. So I'm going to use it anyway. It hasn't dried particularly well. It's almost like it bumped up at the corners. And it's, oh sorry about that, totally off camera. It's worth noting that it does give off some heat as it's curing. So bear that in mind. I could definitely feel it. And there was a little touch of fume coming off it as I put it in the window. So bear that in mind. I don't think I'd buy this again, to be honest. Oh, what am I doing? It's not what I want to do at all. Take that off there. So I'm going to pop that on there, close the jump ring. So now we've got a dangle. I'll make a nice bookmark. And now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with this. Now obviously I didn't cover the back side of the these particular elements, and I don't particularly want that showing, so I'm thinking, do I just put a blob of glue on, or do I attach them with a jump ring and that'll stop them turning round? I don't know. Let's try the jump ring and see what it looks like. It could look terrible. Okay, so here we have the finished piece. I've popped it on a piece of white paper so that you can see it more clearly, because it tends to blend into my background. There are certainly colours that I enjoy using. I like these colours. So we have the bezel, which was filled with the Pretty Liberty fabric and the little tiny flat back pearls, and then topped off with that horrible stinky UV resin stuff. On this side we've got the this part of a necklace, so I've broken the necklace up and I've just used one of the sort of charms and part of the cord, and I've used some of the embossed embossing powdered embellishment on that side, and also one on that side. And what I've done is just use a little bit of wire to sort of anchor that down, because when it was flapping around you could see the bronze side of it, and I didn't like that particularly. And then I've added a charm at the bottom with just a few beads, so a little Swarovski bicone and a few little, a couple of faux pearl beads, a faux crystal bead, and at the bottom I've just used one of those heart charms that I put some of the embossing powder on, and again just a little dangle there with a Swarovski bicone in the green just to complement the fabric, and then a couple of beads on the bottom there. So I really like it, it looks really cute. Those are attached together, so I'm going to use those in a journal and as a dangle in a journal. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm not sure how much of it I've actually captured on video and how much I'm talking to. I'm probably going to be removing a lot of the noise because there's an awful lot going on in the background today with I think it's my husband doing the garden and the neighbour's van and things like that. So anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed watching what I have put together today, and I'll soon find a use for the other charms that I made earlier. So thanks for joining me, and if you enjoy this type of video and you like junk journaling and a bit of mixed media, then do consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a thumbs up please, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye.